a lot of people have learned what I would call textbook Dutch. So they know enough Dutch to function in everyday situations, but not necessarily enough to express themselves professionally or intellectually. So they may know exactly what they think about something, but they don't have yet the language to explain an idea, an opinion, an emotion, or disagree or make an argument in Dutch. So for me, it isn't simply about learning more Dutch. It's about making the transition from knowing Dutch to actually being able to express yourself in Dutch. And then confidence becomes a really important part of that.
Yeah.
So you don't become confident and then start speaking. So you become confident because you speak.
You are listening to Career and Life in the Netherlands, the Resettle podcast. My name is Mirjam de Bakker.
And I am Corine van Dijk. We build Resettle. We are your career partner for international professionals in the Netherlands.
And in this podcast, we want to inspire you by using our own experiences in living abroad and resettling in our home country. By sharing insights from our coaching sessions, we will update you on what is happening in the Dutch job market, all to help you get a head start in your career and really thrive here in the Netherlands.
We are your coaches and career partners. And my added strength is my HR, recruitment and outplacement background and my LinkedIn expertise.
And my added strength lies in my marketing background and positive psychology coaching. So let's get started. Still wondering if speaking Dutch matters as an international professional in the Netherlands? Then this episode is for you. Today, Corine and I are talking to Jacky van Der Starre. She is the founder of Speaking Professional Dutch, also known and loved for her one-on-one coaching with Taalstar. I'm very excited because we have so much great stuff to share today. Jacky has been building businesses since 2009. She helped more than 150 international professionals go from I understand everything, but I freeze the second I have to speak, to actually holding their own in Dutch. Her philosophy is refreshingly untextbook. Speak first, perfect later. And here's why she's on this show, because her work and ours are two halves of one story. She gets internationals speaking Dutch. We help them land and shape the next step in their career. So welcome to the podcast, Jacky.
Thanks, Mirjam. Thank you for having me. Corine, Mirjam, it's really great to be on your show. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Oh, well, that always helps. Well, of course, I'm not doing this alone. And I'm very happy that my co-host for today is Corine van Dijk den Ouden, who is, we founded Resettle together. So please, Corine, welcome and give us a very, very short introduction.
Okay, well, it's good that you say that because I'm not very good at keeping things short. But I'm really excited to be here. Mirjam is the perfect podcast host, and I work with her already 3 years together. And I've worked with a lot of internationals as a career coach, executive career coach. I'm a LinkedIn expert already for 6 years at the moment. Love to get the best out of you on your resume and your LinkedIn profile. And I work with several outplacement agencies. I used to live abroad for 14 years in Geneva, Belgium, and US. So I know how it is to be in your shoes as an expat. I love to work with professionals and really highlight your superpower, so you can get to the next step of your career when you are in the Netherlands.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, since you've said it all, I can keep it really short. My name is Mirjam de Bakker. I'm a transitional coach. Everything I do is very much rooted in positive psychology. I have a marketing strategy background. I was raised in France. I lived in Pakistan, Singapore, and London for about 14 years. And if you want to know anything more about us, then we've got a lovely trailer with our origin story. So I suggest you go there because it's beyond the scope of this podcast to keep on rambling. So let's get to Jacky because, it's nice if you have a guest that you actually give her some airtime. So why language is your way in? So Jacky, you've been an entrepreneur since 2009. You watched a lot of internationals go from hesitant to confident.
Mm-hmm.
You help them speak Dutch, but what makes speaking specifically your mission?
Good question. I kept seeing people who actually knew more Dutch than they dared to use. So they could understand conversations, follow meetings, and manage everyday situations. But the moment they had to speak, something changed. They became hesitant, started searching for every word, or switched back to English. So, and I also noticed another gap. A lot of people have learned what I would call textbook Dutch. So they know enough Dutch to function in everyday situations, but not necessarily enough to express themselves professionally or intellectually. So they may know exactly what they think about something, but they don't have yet the language to explain an idea, an opinion, an emotion, or disagree or make an argument in Dutch. So for me, it isn't simply about learning more Dutch. It's about making the transition from knowing Dutch to actually being able to express yourself in Dutch. And then confidence becomes a really important part of that.
Yeah.
So you don't become confident and then start speaking. So you become confident because you speak.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can also see that that confidence will carry you a long way in your workplace and also in your everyday life in the Netherlands. So maybe can you share an example with us? Because you worked with so many people of someone who actually voiced that to you, saying, speaking and you helping me speak up more and be more confident, help me in other ways?
Yeah, it's about 90% of my students. So this is the number one thing someone would approach me. So I would say it's about 50-50. So it's 50% having the ability to express yourself and 50%. So it's like 50% knowledge and 50% confidence. So you can have reached B2 level or even C1 and still feel not comfortable to express yourself in Dutch. So that's the issue.
Dutch people can relate to this as well because I've been studying Italian for 3 years and still, even ordering an espresso in the morning when I'm on holiday, the first time is really difficult. And we're just talking about an espresso. It's not that, it's not that hard, but it's a huge threshold to actually open your mouth and voice what in your head sounds really lovely.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, people start talking back, and you're like, yeah. So what the do I do now?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand.
What's next?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go to the business stuff, I remember when we lived in Geneva, your restaurant stuff, your basic stuff, and then something in your house breaks, or there's something at work and it's more like business or technical. And then it's like, oh, but I didn't learn this. How do I do that?
Yeah.
So then it becomes like real life and in your career or in your surroundings. And then you have no idea what to say. And then you lose that confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have the coffee machine. Okay, everybody seems to work from home nowadays, but slowly we will be going back to the office. And then there is the coffee machine. And that's a huge thing in Holland.
Yeah, I think it starts with small talk and companies with a lot of internationals. Still, when Dutch people meet at the coffee machine or in the canteen, it's still the small talk about vacation and other stuffs. It's going to be in Dutch as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So going there and going to the office. So we're getting to the career part. I always say to coaches of mine that it's so important to speak Dutch because it opens up ways for your career. What is your opinion about that? So what starts to open up in your career, in your network, once you really move from English to Dutch and you can really have that conversation in Dutch instead of switching back to English?
So the most important thing is in my opinion, that you don't need fluency for things to start changing. Yeah. So even a few sentences can change how you participate. You can contribute something in a meeting of having a little conversation with a colleague around the coffee machine, introduce yourself at the networking event, or ask a question without immediately switching to English.
Mm-hmm.
So, and something else happens. People get to see more of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have definitely different type of conversations. It's not necessarily that your career suddenly becomes better because you speak Dutch. That's nonsense. But it's that you can show more of the professional you already are.
Yeah.
And I think
so it's not about becoming a better professional. It's about being able to show more of the professional you already are.
It's about showing also a level of commitment to being here, to being part of this culture.
Yeah, because one of the tips that I always give to my coaches when they actually are applying and when they actively learning Dutch is just, put one or two sentences in Dutch, in your cover letter. So start with Dutch and then switch to English, but really mention that you are practicing your Dutch at a certain level and you really show it, show your commitment. And the other thing is, like, if you are invited for that interview, start practicing the first couple of sentences in Dutch to show your commitment. So what are the tips that you could give on top of that? Is there anything you can add there?
I think it's a good advice, but what is also important that don't kind of memorize sentences from another level. So, for example, you're on B1 level and you want to make very complicated sentences and you want to impress someone. And then, you memorize those sentences. And then the moment you start having that interview, you freeze. So it must be something that you feel comfortable with. Yeah. And sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
That's actually really good advice.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I would rather hear a couple of sentences with a mistake than you are memorizing, the perfect sentences and then you freeze, or you just, maybe you can come up with one sentence and then you're like, wow, hell no, please continue in English.
Yeah.
I think also, I don't know, but it's more what we experience now with our coaches. The market is changing, as in employers really are putting speaking Dutch and being fluent in Dutch. It's more pronounced in the job descriptions. They are looking for people that are committed. And that's why these tips are important, because even if you're not fluent, even if you're never fluent in Dutch, that's not the goal. That's the aim is to be confident enough to speak and to improve, to show that, again, you're committed to actually being here and not just passing through.
Yeah. There's also something people should know, that most of the employers, they have no idea about language levels.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes, if you want to have a residency here, so there are rules. But if I'm asking one of my family members, what's your level in Dutch? They said, how many levels do we have? Yeah. So 5, 10, 20. So I think the idea of speaking the language is like, do I understand you and do you understand me?
Can we connect?
Can we connect? Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we are talking about, connecting and making that conversation, claiming your space, practicing your Dutch, you are in your new job, talking with your colleagues. And of course, it's not your first language. So sometimes, you're looking for words. And then what Dutch people a lot of times do, they switch back to English. So how can you really make sure that you keep that conversation going in Dutch? Do you have Any tips on that?
Yeah, I think first of all, don't take it personally. So there are several reasons why Dutch people switch to English. Yeah, sometimes they're genuinely trying to be helpful. They hear that your Dutch isn't perfect and they think, oh, let's make it easier for you. Yeah. And sometimes it's simply efficiency. Mm-hmm. So if you're standing at the market stall or in the store and then other 10 customers are waiting behind you, the vendor may simply not have time to wait while you are searching for the right words. So, and I think especially in the big cities like Amsterdam, Eindhoven, where you have a lot of international, there's also a kind of habit that developed in the Netherlands. So the Dutch people are used to internationals living here for years and years without speaking much Dutch. So sometimes they assume that after a few sentences, the conversation is going to become English anyway. And they might think like, oh, why bother if we'll end up in speaking English anyway? Mm-hmm. So, save me some time. So I don't think it's fair to say Dutch people don't give internationals a chance. Mm-hmm. So sometimes also you need to stop them and ask for it. Mm-hmm. It can be a combination of helpfulness, efficiency, and habit. So, but if you want to practice, you can gently take the floor back. So you don't need to apologize for your Dutch or explain why it's not perfect. You can simply make it clear that you want to continue in Dutch.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. Just say, hey, I know that you want to help me and, switch to English, but I really, really need to practice my Dutch. Are you okay with us, staying in the Dutch conversation? And yeah, I understand when you're at the Albert Heijn and you have to go really fast, then it's maybe easier to just keep that English going. But in another other conversation, it's easier to say, hey, I really want to practice my Dutch. So you pick and choose your situation.
Yeah, what a coincidence. We have you on the show, Jacky. And we know that you have ways to help people practice their Dutch and speak up. So I think it would be nice if you can talk a bit more about everything that you do with Speak Professional Dutch and Taalstar and how you actually help people.
Yeah. So I'm actually, I have an ecosystem. So the thing is that I think learning a language is a kind of process. So, and especially being able to speak in Dutch and feel free to speak in Dutch, have the confidence, it is something you will do over time. So that means at first you need to have the right input. So having the right words, the sentence structure, how can you express yourself professionally? How is it going to be? Is it direct, too direct? Is it open? How do people respond to your feedback, to your comments, to your questions? So there is all kind of different layers of understanding the language and being able to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. So besides my one-on-one training, so I can really focus on what's your level, where are you right now, and what is your ultimate goal? So what would you like to achieve? Why are you learning Dutch? Is it to achieve a certain position, or is it that you would like to build a network, or is it that you would like to have a better relationship with your neighborhood? And the second thing is that a one-on-one training is very intense and it is an investment. It's not for everyone. And also it's a kind of period in time. It may be 10 weeks or 20 weeks. And after that, what's going to happen? So how do you maintain your Dutch? How can you make sure that you have enough possibilities to practice your Dutch, to practice your professional, intellectual Dutch? So I could feel a certain void, I would say, especially for people who working in an international company and people who don't speak Dutch at home. I was like, okay, I need to come up with something what helps them and what makes it, what provides them the the platform, the opportunity to keep practicing and improving. So that's why I built Spreekwafel. So it's the app for professionals who would like to improve their professional language. To me, professional language is not just only the language on the work floor. It's also to be able to express yourself as an intellectual. So that means being able to make a good sentence on a different topic. I would say maybe the news, maybe climate, maybe politics, maybe philosophy. And Spreekwafel is also there because it starts from the A2 level. So a lot of people starting learning the language, it's really important that you build a solid foundation, a solid grammar foundation. I won't say that on A2 you're already there, but it gives you, it's a nice starting point for a better understanding. And also you should have at least some foundation to be able to speak. So, and the app is very activating. So it helps you with speaking sentences, it's recording, it's giving you feedback on your pronunciation, it gives feedback on your input. So there is also a very challenging part in it. It's an open practice. So we have different situations. And what can you say in a certain situation? Yeah. How can you respond to a certain question? And so it's something what should reflect real life. And besides that, I know that still people find it hard to be disciplined in a way like, okay, I have the commitment to do, to practice every day. So that's why Spreekwafel Circle comes up. And Spreekwafel Circle is actually the active community for really practicing your professional Dutch with others. So, yeah, it depends on what you're looking for, but there are different ways. So there's no excuse to start improving your professional Dutch and really start speaking.
I think that's wonderful because then you have a community with people that are like yourself, learning Dutch, not like you, but like other professionals learning Dutch and speaking. So it's also a safe environment. You know, you're not standing on a stage in front of 100 Dutch who are going to judge you. You're with like-minded people, and
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a network on its own, and we are huge believers in networking.
Definitely.
I've taken a little sneak peek already because I think it's going to be brilliant for a lot of people in our group program as well. So yeah, if you're listening to this, go to the show notes and the links will be in there. And it's brilliant on its own, but I think the combination that you're giving people to actually enter that community, be part of the Spreekwafel Circle, that will make a huge difference in really, taking steps. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about that, about networking, and this is also for them to create a network. And that's what we are big believers in as well. And so that's why we have the group program. So you can build that confidence in your app Spreekwafel, on the Dutch level. In our group program, you can build your confidence about your next step in your career, about the ability to network together, to get to know more people, because some of them, the coaches we work with, just are not even in the Netherlands or just arrived in the Netherlands. So what a big and a great way to already meet other expats and start networking, which is so very important in the career in the Netherlands, which is the number one space to land a job.
Yeah, a job goes via your network. I think we all agree on that. And we also, like you, we do one-on-one coaching, which is lovely and it is intense and you will get a lot of results. I think the beauty of the group program is that what you just said, you're there together. So there is a community feeling and you learn from what other people are, questions they're asking, what other people are going through. We do a lot of live Q&As in those. So we actually coach you. It's not just it's self-paced partly, but we actually coach you And I think the beauty of it is that we look at, okay, so what are your unique skills and how can you translate those to Dutch? And how can you then increase your confidence? And that's why I think it's brilliant that we're doing this together because, well, actually, we'll touch on that later because first, we asked you to do something. We asked you to to put your brain to use and to create a little exercise for us that we can share today. So I think we should do that first, if you don't mind, because I'm really curious to hear what you've come up with.
Okay. So I think that sometimes it's just good to know that there is a difference in I would say the regular Dutch levels. So having your I would say to follow a course for your inburgeringsexam, or you say, okay, I want to do an official staatsexamen. And then they say, okay, this is my level. I'm at B1 or B2. And then when they start with the exercises of Spreekwafel, and they said, actually, Jacky, are you sure this is the correct level? So, because they feel that, for example, the A2 level is already on B1 and the B1 level is already B2 because the kind of type of language, the professional language, is a bit different. Yeah. So I came up with a sentence, and I would like to know from the listeners. So, do you actually understand what I'm saying? So this is a real life sentence, what people can use during a meeting on the work floor. So I will just spit it out, okay?
Wait 2 seconds. If you're listening right now and you want to do this properly, sit down, get your coffee, get your colleagues out of the room. I don't care, but make sure you have, Jacky will have your full attention because she's going to say something and it's a challenge to see if you understand what she's saying. Okay, so Jacky, now the floor to you.
Okay, here it comes. Ik begrijp je punt. Maar ik denk dat we dit ook van een andere kant kunnen bekijken. So, I'll repeat one more time. Ik begrijp je punt. Maar ik denk dat we dit ook van een andere kant kunnen bekijken. So, do you understand it? And more importantly, what would you say back?
Okay.
So this is a sentence you could hear in a meeting. Someone doesn't completely agree with you. But they're not saying you're wrong. Yeah, je hebt ongelijk. They're acknowledging your point and then introducing another perspective. Yeah. So then you could say it too cautious. Like, maybe you're right, but I'm not sure. So, misschien heb je gelijk, maar ik weet het niet zeker. Or too direct. Van, nee, dat klopt niet. Je moet het anders bekijken. So as in, no, that's not right. You need to look at it differently. So, people, they think that Dutch is always super direct. I mean, there is something in between. Yeah. So just right, I can say, I understand your point, but I think we can also look at this from a different perspective. Yeah. So then a natural reply would be like, okay, what do you mean? Hoe bedoel je? So it shows that it's not just about knowing the words. It's about knowing how to disagree professionally. So you're saying, I hear you, I understand your point, but I see it differently. So that is an important part of professional Dutch. And yeah, then there's the final question, do I dare to say it?
Well, you've said it twice. You've explained it. We're going to put it in the show notes, the written version of this sentence and your replies. And then people can start practicing. And then if they want to know more, well, they need to read the rest of the show notes.
Perfect.
That's a really brilliant exercise. And And it's also good because when you look at the culture map and you look at the fact that we are a low context country, a lot of questions we get is about, people are so direct here, and how do I reply, or how do I deal with it? Because it's very difficult to deal with it when you are not used to just how incredibly direct / rude / blunt the Dutch can be. And they don't mean it personally. They don't even realize that it's what they are, because it's their bubble. It's how, and I say there because I was raised in France, so I do not consider myself fully Dutch.
Do you live in the west, or do you live in the east or southeast of the Netherlands?
So
That's a difference.
It's quite a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. No, even I, when I came back, I really had to get used to the bluntness of the Dutch. I was like really shocked. I'm like, wow, I have to be on top of my answers all the time. And that was really tiring for me. And the funny thing is, because I use that sentence as well, because sometimes I didn't know what to say. And I just said, ik zie dat anders. Because I had no answer at the time, but at least I had some time to, think about it, or to let them know that I wasn't agreeing, but not in the blunt Dutch way.
Well, you did better than I did. I actually started crying in the car because I had a coffee date with someone, and they, I was there trying to build a relation. I was doing it the Asian way. And they said, okay, so you wanted to meet for a coffee. Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. What can I do for you? And I was like, so yeah, needless to say, that conversation wasn't really effective.
Just give me a glass of water. Yeah.
Exactly. Wonderful. Before we start to round off, I wanted to ask you, did we forget to ask you something? Is there a subject that we did not touch on that you are that you want to share, that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that I would say keep it very practical. So especially for your career side. Yeah. So Corine, you mentioned that there are all kind of different topics and different fields of learning the language. So choose something what is relevant to you. So if you are applying for jobs, please focus on the language for interviews. Yeah. If you are building your network, yeah. So next week, next month, you have network events coming up. Focus on the language for network events. Of course, on a network event, there's 100,000 topics they can come up with, but make sure at least you have some basic sentences, or you will recognize the words. I mean, sometimes it's not even being able to express yourself, but recognizing the language, that is the first step. So know where people talking about it. Okay, maybe you can still answer in English, but so focus on the language which is relevant to you, because otherwise it can be so overwhelming. Yeah. And I mean, if I'm going to a hospital, so I'm not a medical professional, and I hear doctors and medical professionals having a conversation, there's a lot of language I don't understand. Well, it's in Dutch.
Yeah. Would you say that it's also useful when you go to a network event to practice a little pitch for yourself in Dutch? Is that something that you would do with your coachees?
Depends on the type of event. So is it something like, is it a very active and interactive event? Yes, I would definitely recommend. But I also know that big network events, then probably you won't have that much time to give a pitch or to share something. So, I mean, it depends on the event.
Okay. Yeah.
And is it like, are you an entrepreneur? So, or are you looking for a job? Or, so what's the reason? Why are you joining? Are you just there to make friends? That can also be a good cause, So.
But then just order wine, then you need to speak. Now, I love networking, but when I go to a networking event and I don't know anybody there, yeah, I just order a glass of wine or a Coca-Cola. It doesn't have to be alcohol, but I just, stand in a corner with a glass and I'm looking for the person that looks even less comfortable than I feel. And then strike up a conversation with that person. And after that, I'm fine. But, we all have our little ways and some, you are really good at that. You just walk into a room and everyone within 5 minutes. We're all different, right?
Corine is a master networking networker. Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be about the work or about the career. Or you can be here and looking for a hairdresser or talking about sports or, everybody thinks that if you go to a networking event, it has to be about career. No, it's not. It can be about small talk, and that could be a good start of a conversation.
Yeah. Maybe you're looking for the next school for your kids. A house. Yeah.
That's a very nice challenge.
Yeah.
So the good thing is, you have your circle, which has many layers as well. So people, again, look in the show notes. There's links so that people can explore all the ways they could work with you, learn from you, and try the app. Start there anyway. And you are going to create something that will be exclusively available within our group program. And again, not going to spoil what it is, but it is pretty amazing. And to return the favor, Corine and I are creating something exclusively for your community.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell everyone what it is.
That's going to be on Spreekwafel Circle. Yeah.
Exactly. And why are we doing this? Because we really believe that the career and the Dutch and the life in the Netherlands and the Dutch speaking go hand in hand. And that even if it's just a little bit, it will boost your confidence and it will just help you settle in and improve the quality of your life in the Netherlands. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we are helping people. That's why you are helping people. So that's why we were very happy to have you on the show today. If you want to know more about me and Corine, well, there's more podcast episodes to listen to. And we have every 6 weeks, I think, we do a free webinar where we talk about life and career in the Netherlands, and especially the career bit, what you can do to get a head start. The webinar is free. Sign up link is in the show notes. Do come, and ask your questions. And then I think the closing words are for you, Jacky. So my question is, if you could put one sentence on a billboard for every international who's ever thought, I'm not ready yet, what would it say?
I would say you don't have to be ready. So on my billboard, there will be speak first, perfect later. So just open your mouth, make thousands of mistakes. That's fine. Yeah. Just make sure that you're okay with it. So, accept that you're making mistakes, because the more mistakes you make, the more you can improve. So, as I said, confidence comes first and then you'll speak. But actually, speaking is what creates the confidence. So don't wait. Say it anyway.
Well, I think that's a great way to round this off. Anything to add, Corine?
No, I like that. I like that closing sentence, and I can agree with you totally. You only perfect it when you start speaking. Yeah.
Perfection is boring anyway.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It was really delightful here to have this conversation with you, and I'm really looking forward to collaborate more in future in your platform and Spreekwafel Circle. I think really complement each other.
I think so too, and we love to be in each other's networks. So I'm sure we'll meet each other at a dinner or a speaking event or any kind of networking event very soon. Thanks for being here today. Keep following the podcast, keep following Jacky, and talk to you next time.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.